From cycling 60 miles a week to struggling just to get out of bed, Deb's story proves that real strength is more than just physical. Coming up on The Long Haul with Summer. Welcome to The Long Haul with Summer, where we're talking about real stories, real solutions, innovative care, and challenging the traditional medical system. Today, we're so excited to have in Deb Moyer, who has such an inspiring story to tell us about her journey to our healthcare team. And I can't wait for you to hear all the exciting things she's going to tell us. So Deb, welcome in today. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, we're so excited to hear what you have to say. So before we get started, if you would just give us a little bit of background information, just tell us about yourself and, kind of some interesting things or what you did before COVID.
Okay, sure. I'm 37 years old. I'm a wife of a Marine veteran, a mom of 3 boys, 17, 16, and 12. I'm a registered nurse from Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 3 boys.
Yes.
That will keep you busy.
It sure does.
Yeah, I bet it does. So take me back a little bit, because I know I've heard your story and it's so inspiring and I've seen you walk through some of that, but take me back to where you were before you got sick and then kind of walk me through what happened as you started to get sick.
Sure. I was a busy mom, and working actually probably about 60 to 80 hours a week.
Wow.
I was probably in the best health I had been in. I had become a cyclist. I was cycling 60 miles a week. We were a very active family, so we always went camping and fishing and biking and hiking. It was just life. We were busy and active, and it was wonderful. We were doing great. Up until October 26th of 2021.
Okay.
That is the day that I got the second Pfizer COVID vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
And 40 minutes later, I started with severe head pressure, dizziness, tunnel vision, and it just never let up. It just kept going and getting worse. That progressed to 7 days after the vaccine. My both legs started becoming weak. 10 days later, my right leg started to drag.
Oh, wow.
That kept progressing as well to where then the left leg would drag to the point where I ended up completely wheelchair bound, paralyzed from the belly button down for almost 3.5 years. I also just dealt with, just debilitating, severe sound sensitivity.
Mm-hmm.
I had to live in earplugs and noise-canceling headphones, which as a mom of 3 boys does not go very well.
No, I'm sure it doesn't. You may wish that you could have that all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. So I went from being active to having to sit in a chair with the lights off, with the headphones and earplugs on, not able to do anything. The blinds had to be drawn, just maybe like a crack of light shining through. That was it. That then progressed to having seizures, as many as 7 a day.
Oh, wow.
The full tonic-clonic, shaking, incontinent. Just brutal.
Yeah.
All the time. So I pretty much lost everything, every aspect of it. I couldn't be the mom I wanted to be. Couldn't be the wife I wanted to be, I had not worked since the day that I got the vaccine.
Wow.
And so, it's hard going from the main breadwinner to nothing.
Right.
My husband, thankfully, at the time owned his own remodeling business. And so he had to give up the business to take care of me full time. But I've been very blessed with a wonderful, supportive family. So my parents were over helping for at least 3 days a week, on call 24/7. That way Brian could try to work, periodically. But it was just devastating. And my condition just kept getting worse.
Mm-hmm.
I was hospitalized numerous times. And all of my tests were pretty much inconclusive. But they only did like the standard testing, like an MRI. Everything was fine. They're like, well, I guess it could be inflammation. And then they decided, oh no, it's probably psychiatric.
Right.
You're faking it.
Oh yes,
It's in
your
your
seizures.
head.
Yeah.
Yes. So it was horrible. I was treated terribly. You go from being a healthcare hero,
Right.
One day working all these hours, helping take care of people through COVID, and then you're either forced to take this vaccine or you lose your job.
Right.
And then, oh, you're a nurse, so you know how to fake this.
Right.
So there was a lot of character assassination. It was just horrible. I was seen in every healthcare system in Pennsylvania. And so it either went from there's nothing wrong with you, it's all psychiatric, till I found one doctor, one neurologist who had been vaccine injured himself, who told me, well, you're done. Your nerves are dead, your legs are dead, you're paralyzed, you'll never walk again, which
Interesting. Okay.
is not really what I want to hear.
No, but at least he admitted the vaccine injury.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, he was the only one that was able to admit that there was something with the vaccine that was wrong. My family doctor did try to help, but this was very much out of his wheelhouse.
Right. Yeah.
But I had known him for many, many years. So he knew the type of person I was, and that obviously I wouldn't be faking this.
Right.
So he kept referring me, to try to get me help, but I just couldn't get anywhere. So there was just no hope. And that's just how life was. And the seizures just kept coming. And so late one night, my mom just happened to catch an interview of Dr. Jordan Vaughn saying that he knew how to help people with COVID vaccine injury and long COVID, and that he could help. So my mom called me and she's like, you got to go. So I waited 8 months.
Oh, wow.
For an appointment with the out-of-state. They were bombarded.
Yeah.
Well, you guys were bombarded.
Crazy. Yeah, it still is. Yes.
Yes. So I waited my turn. And so finally, December 4th of 2024, I finally had my appointment with Dr. Vaughn. So
wow, we're at the year mark. Exactly, almost.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Which is very exciting.
Yeah.
But yes, so I go into the office and, of course I'm nervous and I'm like, oh, what are they going to say? Because I've been through it all.
Right. Yeah.
I've actually been physically escorted out of doctors' offices. So you never know. I've left many appointments crying.
Same. Yeah.
So it was very daunting, but I'm like, he said he knows how to help. So my husband and I came all the way to Alabama, left the kids up with family, and I'm like, all right, we're going to do this. We're going to do this appointment. So I come in and Dr. Vaughn opens the door, and the first thing he says is, God works in mysterious ways. You are meant to be here. Apparently, my mom had written Dr. Vaughn a letter in July of last year.
Oh, wow.
Basically begging him to see me. And he had gotten it and put it in his briefcase and lost it, but found it the morning that I was scheduled to be in the office.
Oh, wow.
So he read the letter and was coming in to have the girls call me to schedule, and I was already there.
Wow.
So that just gave me a peace automatically.
Yeah. Wow.
So just a divine appointment.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool. And so he listened intently and he's like, okay, this is what's wrong. I know what to do and I can help. And it's like, oh, praise the Lord.
Yeah.
It was finally hope,
Yeah.
that I had been missing for all those years. And so I'm like, whatever, I'll do, whatever. So I started on the treatment, multiple medications and supplements and, the whole gamut. And the plan was for my husband and I to only stay down here for about 3 weeks. So that way I could do some of the other, alternative therapies like the hyperbaric oxygen chamber and EBOO and, the other stuff that Medwell offers. So they started me with physical therapy as well with Sean Hiller at
Yeah.
Vulcan Performance 3 days a week. And at that point, the goal was just to have me sit up unsupported for 45 seconds, because if I would sit up for too long, I would seize and have to lay down. And so, I mean, we started from, the ground up,
Yeah.
really. And so we weren't really sure how things were going to go, but we gave it our best shot. So I did whatever anybody recommended, and I kept improving. I mean, you feel sick for the first couple weeks on the therapy.
Yeah.
You feel a little bit worse before you get better.
Yeah.
But I mean, within 6 weeks, I started being able to take steps with a walker,
Wow.
which that in itself was a miracle.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you were told you'll never walk again, it was just incredible. So, so I think that was mid-January of this year.
Mm-hmm.
So, started with that, and so I'm like, okay, so that's great. So the one day, it was February 1st, I was out on Jemison Trail here in Mountain Brook, and doing my physical therapy, taking a walk, and it was a terrible day. I was having a lot of pain, just not moving very well. Everybody is passing you on the trail. It's
Right.
very humbling.
Yeah. Well, they do that to me anyway. Yeah.
And so all of a sudden, this woman comes up and says, hey, God's telling me I need to pray for you. Will you accept it? So I said, of course, I'd be honored. So my little walker had a seat. So I sat down on the little seat, and so she started to pray. And I've never had anybody pray over me that intensely. I mean, she prayed to fill me with the Holy Spirit, for angels to surround us. She prayed for every cell, every bone, every muscle. She squeezed all over my legs. And then all of a sudden, she just grabs me up out of the walker and says, okay, you're going to walk and I'm going to pray. And so we started off with the same awful, shaky steps, that I had been doing. So she stayed alongside me and she prayed and kept praying. And she's like, okay, more, Lord, we need more healing. And every step got easier and easier. And then she's like, okay, I'm going to let you go and you keep going. So she did, but she stayed alongside and she just kept praying and praying and just, more, Lord, we need more. And I left her walking completely normal pace, normal rhythm, all on my own. It was a miracle. I mean, it was incredible. And so, of course, the tears are streaming, and, her and I are hugging and embracing and just praising God for what I was able to get back.
Right.
And my husband was in shock, of course. And so, I've been given this miracle. Now I just try to, share my testimony and encourage others the best I can.
Mm-hmm.
But I still, continue to need treatment for other parts of it. I got my legs back, but, I was in a wheelchair for 3.5 years. So, we had to build muscle. And so I'm still doing physical therapy twice a week in clinic. And then I still do it pretty much every day on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm still in Medwell twice a week and doing treatments. But I haven't had a seizure since March 4th.
Oh, wow.
We have found the cause of the head pressure and the seizures. Katie Taylor, one of the nurse practitioners that mainly takes care of me, she worked with the radiologist and found out that it wouldn't show up on an MRI, but it was on a CT angiogram that I have a narrowed blood vessel down here. Was sent to a neurosurgeon, found out it was full of blood clots. And that is what has been causing my symptoms and the seizures.
Interesting.
That I was not faking anything. It was not psychiatric. And they said it's only been God that's kept me alive all these years. Because it would have killed me at any point.
Yeah.
So it's been a wild ride.
Yeah.
But I'm so much better.
Yeah.
So much better. I'd say probably 90 to 95% back. which is incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
So it's been a journey for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I have so many questions and so many things I want to ask you. I remember I wasn't at Medwell the first day you came in walking, but they had told me that you were. I was like, no way. And I remember the first time I saw you walk into there, and it sends chills, up you to see that, I remember the first day you were in there and you had a seizure.
Yeah.
To this, and it's just amazing. Dr. Vaughn treated me as well, and I have a similar situation of the gaslighting and psych and all the things.
Right.
Luckily, I didn't have the neurological things that you did, but I remember seeing him the first day too, and it didn't matter what he said. I was going to do it.
Exactly.
And he gave me hope, just like, you mentioned, that I can get better and that there is something wrong with me.
Yes.
It was fine. All the ologists that I saw and all the things, I would have been okay, I think, if they would have said, I don't know, instead of you're fine.
Right.
Yes. I don't know. We can, do some more tests and you somewhere else. I just don't know. But there is nothing wrong.
Right.
All the tests are fine. And me also in healthcare saying, no, like there is something wrong.
Right.
And then going the whole psych route is crazy.
Right.
And then you start to think, am I crazy? Maybe I am crazy.
Right.
I don't know. But I mean, you kind of alluded to this, but so your journey to Dr. Vaughn and to, his team, our team to get that, I mean, it was rocky. And like 3 years worth of doctor's visits and scans and all the things. I mean, is there anything else you can share with us about that? I mean, I know you went to multiple medical systems and is there anything else you want to expand upon or anything that you would like to say to patients who are dealing with this themselves?
Don't give up.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. Because I had gotten to the point where, I mean, if I would not have found Dr. Vaughn, I would have given up because I had gone the route of every healthcare system. And then Johns Hopkins refused to see me. They weren't treating patients with vaccine injury at that point. So, there really wasn't another outlet for me to go. So yeah, that would be the main thing I would say is just don't give up and keep that hope. It's really hard.
Yeah.
I mean, the character assassination that they put you through and the doubt and the devastation, it's real.
Yeah.
I mean, I lost most of my friends through this. A lot of people, their families, just stopped believing in them and have turned away.
Yeah.
I've been in, a couple Facebook support groups, with other people across the world that are going through this. So you just hear these stories and it just breaks your heart.
Yeah.
I was one of the lucky ones that had the supportive family and a supportive church family and, everybody, but not many people have that.
Right.
So, for those that don't, you're your own advocate. You just have to really keep fighting. But it's really, really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is hard. And I think you go to another appointment, nothing's wrong. You get another scan, nothing's wrong. I mean, I feel like I had a little glimmer of hope each time I went to a new specialist. Like they're going to scan something and find something, and then that wasn't fruitful. And they're like, okay, now what's next?
Right.
And you do sort of lose your momentum and your hope because it takes all the energy you have to get to that appointment.
Right.
Right. And, someone's got to take you, go with you.
Right.
You can't go by yourself.
Right.
And then it's, the outcome is the same. And so, it is very hard to push through, I guess.
It really is. I mean, I lived my life in survival mode.
Yeah.
As I think most of us do.
Yeah.
You're literally just trying to survive the day.
Yeah.
So it is all that extra energy and effort to have to make an appointment and go to the appointments
Mhm.
and go through the testing, which, you're getting stuck with needles, then, lumbar punctures, then,
Oh my
all of the
gosh.
things which are just brutal.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, nothing, And so, yeah, it's really heartbreaking
Yeah.
the whole time.
Yeah. And as a mom, because I dealt with this myself. I mean, can you talk to us a little bit about how you're the caretaker
Mhm.
of 3 boys and all of a sudden you can't do that
Yeah.
and someone's having to take care of you? I mean, can you describe to us, I mean, what does that feel like?
Horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, you lose your sense of self.
Yeah.
Your sense of value. I
Mhm.
mean, really, like you lose everything.
Mhm.
I mean, I was lucky if I could get out of bed,
Right.
or else I would spend most of the day in bed and only be up for a few hours. So I missed pretty much 3.5 years of my kids growing up.
Mm.
Um, but I mean, like I said, I was lucky my parents were there
Right.
to help take the kids to the activities and do the activities with them. But no, it's devastating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do your kids ever talk to you about that time, or have y'all had a conversation to say, what was going through your head, or, have they said anything to you about anything that happened during that time?
They have. They were traumatized, especially with the seizures.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Especially my youngest. He really had a hard time with it. Um, but all of them really were just traumatized. And they actually became bullied because their friends would find out at school that what was going on with me, and they're like, there's no such thing as a vaccine injury. So they actually got bullied because of me,
That's
which
crazy.
just makes you feel even worse,
Yeah.
So it was horrible. It was hell, to be
Yeah.
quite honest. Yeah.
That is
So,
so crazy. I mean,
yeah.
my child has long COVID, but she was watching me struggle through it. And actually, I interviewed her and asked her, what she thought and how she felt. 'Cause she was so young at the time, and it's hard to know like what they
Yeah.
remember. But it is traumatizing to
Yeah.
them. And she said to me on here, which I was not expecting, I thought you were going to die.
Yeah.
And that's gut wrenching to think that she witnessed all of that,
Right.
and there were times I thought the same about her because, she was also so
Right.
sick. But it's horrible to go from that person who's strong in their head,
Right.
who takes care of them, to that. They're watching you have a seizure and you
Right.
can't get out of bed and you're missing things, like events, life events, birthdays, Christmas,
Right.
all the things. It's hell,
It is.
actually.
Yeah.
And you do lose your identity because you're
Mhm.
being taken care of all of a sudden. You feel helpless.
Right. Yeah.
And that's a bad place to be.
It really is. Yeah, it really is. And my kids have felt the same too, that they thought I was going to die. My parents thought the same thing.
Right.
When you're having that many seizures a day,
Yeah.
it's hard. So very much so. I mean, Millie's feelings are completely valid. I
Yeah.
completely understand where she's coming from. Bless her heart.
It's awful.
It is.
So we kind of talked about, patients. What would you say to patients if they're going through this, if, they're going through all the appointments?
Mhm.
What would you say to providers who are non-believers
Yeah.
in what we're dealing with, or those people who dismissed you? I mean, what would you say to them now?
I have thought about this,
Yeah.
many times. I've thought about actually going and showing up and just being like, look where I'm at now.
Yeah.
But that's really not the person I am,
Right. Yeah.
But what I would say to them is start thinking for yourself
Yeah.
and think outside of the box. Listen to your patients. They usually have an idea, at least, of what's going on.
Right.
Don't just dismiss what they're saying. Look for other tests,
Right.
I mean, like I said, Katie found this vessel and blood clots
Yeah.
just by talking to the radiologist.
Yeah.
Instead of just
Taking the time.
just ordering a standard test.
Yeah.
So, it really wasn't that difficult. I did ask along the way for them to test my clotting factors
Oh,
after, like the Johnson and Johnson one had come out.
yeah, with the
and
strokes.
With the strokes. And they're like, no, you're probably fine. So they wouldn't even bother, So just listen and do the research. I mean, it's out there. Now the truth is coming out.
Yeah, right.
Thank God.
We've come a long way. Yeah.
Yes, we've come a long way, which is why I hope there's more hope for, other patients at this point, that their doctors are listening now. But the medical field, just, you need to start thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and so, I don't know that I even want to get on the soapbox, but I mean, I'm in the medical field and I
Right.
was in the traditional medical system, and so were you. I
Right.
mean, in a way, it made it harder for me, I think, because I had inferences I was making in my head, but for them, that made me even crazier.
Yes.
And I don't understand why. And I explained many times, especially after I started getting treatment from Dr. Vaughn, they were dismissing me, writing in my chart, that I was going against their medical advice, doing all these risky things and all these things. And I kept saying, I'm making an informed decision.
Right.
And I have data on myself and whatever to support the decision that I'm making.
Right.
But I almost felt like it was harder
Yeah.
being medical.
Very much so.
Yeah, which is wild.
Yes. Yeah. They flat out told me, well, you're a nurse. You know how to fake seizures.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay. All right. Yeah.
they told me once I was faking my hypoglycemia. I'm like, this is the number
Right.
that you can see.
Right.
I'm, perplexed how I
Right.
might do that.
Right.
But yes, the same, I had the same resistance. I also have had a revolution that I'd love to ask you about. Our traditional healthcare system is not what I thought it was.
Right.
It took me becoming a patient, I think, to have my eyes open to that. I don't know if you had similar experience.
Yes. Very much so. I really don't know if I can go back to working
Yeah.
in standard medical care anymore. I really don't. Because, I mean, they're brilliant people.
Sure.
Yeah, they are, but how they're educated and how they just follow a checklist.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sorry, but people don't fit in a checklist.
Right.
And so I just don't like that. I just, after how I've been treated, I don't really feel like I can go back to that.
Mm-hmm.
But but I didn't tell the viewers, is that, since then, we have actually moved our entire family to Alabama. We are here to stay.
Amazing.
We feel like God's called us down here. And, if I'm at one point able to work for y'all, I would love to just give back or do something with the patient population that I'm a part of.
Right.
But it also got to the point, speaking of other healthcare systems. So my middle son was diagnosed with epilepsy in the midst of me going through all this. And I mean, the abnormal EEG, like everything. And his last hospital stay, they wrote more about my condition in his chart than about him. And they said that, again, they tried to say it was functional neurologic disorder, the psychiatric stuff. And so they tried to blame that his seizures are psychiatric as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes, even though his EEG is abnormal. But yes, it got to that point where it's now affecting them. So I had to get my kids out of there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, and I had a similar experience with pulmonologists because I had taken Millie to a pulmonologist, told my story. I had a portfolio, like all the things.
Yeah.
I was requesting a VQ scan on her because I'd had one myself. And he asked me, what do you do? Like, who do you take care of? Basically, inferring that I take care of adults. I know nothing about pediatrics. And he's not wrong. That is true. But this is my child.
Right.
And I have known enough and can read enough that I can, conclude that something very similar is going on with her too. And genetically, we have to be the same, right? I mean, there's something genetically linked, but my healthcare transferred onto hers. Like, you're crazy, she's fine, the whole thing. He did follow back up with me and actually ended up helping us, which I'm very grateful for.
Good.
Yeah. I left my portfolio, but he told us, like, you're in the wrong place. I can't help you, But he did, have at least the mindset to let me contact some people. Let me just read this curiosity,
That's great.
spark of curiosity, which is all I'm asking for.
Right.
But yeah, it's been hard. It was a hard transition, I think, getting out of the traditional healthcare system and then joining this team. I feel like I had to unlearn everything I ever knew.
Yes.
And relearn everything.
Yes.
And I'm guilty. I'm the checkbox person because that's what I was taught.
Right. Here's
the checkbox, X, Y, and Z. X, Y, and Z medication gets prescribed for these symptoms.
Right.
Or this test doesn't show this, then, move on. You're done.
Right.
I mean, you're taught that way. The traditional medical education, that's what we're taught.
Correct.
I don't think there's any, we talk a lot about critical thinking and stuff, but I think that's more to, again, think about where they fit in those check boxes. Right. And how we, do that. But I don't think in my previous, life as a clinician, it would have been well received, the amount of my mind that I'm using now to think outside the box.
Right.
As a matter of fact, it wasn't well received. And that leads me to another question. What would you tell providers who are thinking about thinking outside the box and they have some insight or they have a gut feeling that there's more, but they're stuck? What would you say to them?
Great question. Don't stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the main thing. Don't stop. It is tricky. It is very tricky you have to follow the policies of where you're at. But if you can get out and find somewhere else, I don't even know how you go about doing that. But if you're already there, just keep going. You know, God's leading you somewhere.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think it's certainly a blind leap of faith. One, when you meet this care team to do the treatment.
Yes.
I remember thinking, okay, he gave me his PowerPoint presentation. Did you get the PowerPoint presentation when you met Dr. Vaughn?
He showed me through it. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I got the PowerPoint presentation. I was like, great, this is right. You're right. Whatever you say, I'm going to do it. How do we fix this?
Right.
And then he told me, and I was, as a healthcare provider, let me pump the brakes a minute and think about what you're saying. I'm willing to do whatever it is, to get better. And this makes sense to me. But okay, let me think about that. It questions everything I know. It's a blind leap of faith. He has anecdotal data we have from other countries, but there's nothing in the U.S., right? And so it's faith that lets you take that leap.
Right.
And I trusted fully that he was right, and he was.
Completely. Absolutely. And I felt like God led me here for a reason.
For sure.
But half the stuff that he put me on, I have never heard of.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I really wasn't in a place that I could research a whole lot.
Right.
With the symptoms. And I dealt with memory and concentration stuff too. So, it was strictly a blind leap of faith.
Yeah.
What did I have to lose?
Right.
I was already at rock bottom.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
So, it was either pretty much die or do this.
Yeah.
And it made sense.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we'll go for it.
Sounds good. Nothing else has worked.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a very scary thing, and you saying the research, I find myself in a similar situation because I had so much brain fog. I was in survival mode every day.
Yes.
And even though I'm in healthcare, I couldn't use my brain
to
try to figure out things because I had so much going on, that was blocking the ability to do that.
Right.
So it wasn't until, I started getting treatment, started getting better, that I could do that for myself and, latch onto these things and then try to help, Millie as well. But it's hard when you're so sick to even go on the internet and, try to find things.
Right. I had at the very beginning gotten into some research paper about the head pressure that I had dealt with. Like, what was the best pain medication to help with that? And it was aspirin. So I had started myself on aspirin. And then as the symptoms kept progressing, I increased my dose of aspirin. So
you already a head start.
I did. And that between that and God, that's what they said is what kept me alive with the blood clotting and stuff. But that was the only research I was able to do. And that was like day one of the injury.
Yeah. I mean, as it progresses, I had difficulty breathing. So all day was consumed with, how am I going to get through this day? How am I going to get out of the bed? Do I have enough energy and breath to take a shower? I definitely can't bathe my child. And so there is no, even if you get out of bed to do those things, you cannot get back, even lay in bed to be on the computer because your brain needs oxygen also. And it's not getting it. And you don't know that at the time, which is that's even more difficult, I think. What would you say to policymakers about your situation, about our situation, about the care you've received? Is there anything you would say to policymakers?
Well, most of, the stuff that's out of the box is out of pocket.
Yes.
Insurance doesn't cover that, which is expensive.
Yeah.
So I would say, you forced us to do this. It's time to do the right thing. It would be great if there was some sort of relief fund or something, because I know there are tons of people out there that are hurting and injured. And, it would be nice if they took some responsibility and paid us back. But I don't know if that will ever happen.
Yeah, well.
But I would say I think we're heading the right direction with policymakers, with RFK in there. Our food choices, there's a whole lot of other aspects to the care and the treatment that has played a part. It's not just been medication. I'm on diets, gluten and dairy free, low histamine, so there's a lot that I've learned in this last year. But the truth is coming out.
Yes.
So it's just please keep going. That's just what I would say.
I think that's a great message. And I've talked to several patients too, and I do feel very encouraged. I feel like no matter what side of the political fence you're on, and I don't get into politics, particularly when they come to healthcare, but I will say it's very encouraging, the conversations that have been happening.
Yes.
We do know Dr. Vaughn was invited to a roundtable with HHS to talk about long COVID, to talk about vaccine injury. There was a mention of Lyme disease, and there will be a roundtable for it. So the conversations are happening.
That's great.
In the right places. There's conversations about what we're eating finally, which is insane. And I'm very encouraged by that. I know you and I have had many conversations about what can we eat? And that has never, I would consider myself a healthy person before all of this. And I made healthy choices, but not really. When you're sick, you have to make really huge lifestyle changes, and what you perceive as healthy is actually really not.
No.
And when you get down and examine it, and I know we've talked about what am I supposed to eat every day? If I can't have gluten and histamine and dairy and all the things. You're allergic to coconut.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And a lot of things are substituted with that. Yeah. So it's a whole different mindset, I think, once you're sick and then you start to get better. And now I am really thinking about everything that goes in my mouth, in my body, on my body. And I never really thought about those things before. I took it for granted. That's also kind of scary.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
But there's conversations happening that are surrounding that I'm very encouraged by, at a higher level. And I think it's bringing awareness.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of things that COVID and the vaccine do that lead to inflammation. And we know that. But I think as a nation, we're chronically inflamed at baseline.
Correct.
Right. So the things we do, the things we eat, we're probably all chronically inflamed, from all the processed foods and all the dyes and all the things I've also been feeding my child.
Right.
Until you know better.
Exactly.
So I think, at baseline, we're already inflamed. We get this virus, we get this vaccine, and then, it just multiplies from there. And your immune system just goes haywire and doesn't know what to do with it.
Right.
But I am encouraged that, at least the conversations are happening. And I do see movement in that direction. And all of a sudden, you're not necessarily the outcast for choosing gluten-free. Although it's funny because I'll go to restaurants and they'll say, is this an allergy or a preference? And I don't understand why that matters because, right. I mean, if it's an allergy, I guess, are you going to do something differently than if it's a preference? You might put it in there. Like, I'm not really sure.
Right.
But, at least the conversations are happening. At least there are options. At least there are things you can, do. And I do find, even when patients are sick going through treatment, it is a little bit empowering to give them a diet to follow. And we're not talking about restricting calories. We're talking about making choices that don't inflame your system.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
It is empowering, I think, for the patient. They're like, what can I do? And here's one thing you can do.
Right.
So it kind of puts it back in your hands.
Right.
But talk to us, because I know we've talked about it many times. How hard is that when you're living in a society of fast convenience and you're trying to make healthier choices, especially when you're traveling? Because you were here, in a hotel, long stay.
Yes.
Right? And how do you even do that?
Yes, we lived in a hotel for 2 months.
Yeah.
So it was very difficult.
Yeah.
So you don't do the fast food options, or Chick-fil-A is the better one if you're going to do that.
Yeah.
But, we had to order in, but we also had like a hot plate in the hotel room that we were able to cook on. But it's difficult because they also, you don't want to reheat food either because it raises the histamine.
Yeah.
So it's not like you could meal prep and warm it up later either. So it was a lot of planning. And literally that's how we spent our days, was just taking care of whatever we needed to take care of, making sure I got in my physical therapy, make sure I got in whatever I was supposed to eat those days. All the meds,
Yes.
it literally absorbs your entire day.
It does.
It does.
Being sick and getting well.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And it's laxed a little bit now, that I'm doing so much better.
Right.
But no, it's a process.
Yeah.
And you make the best choices you can, but it is a challenge.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
Especially when you're traveling or you're sick and you can't do those things. Someone's got to do it for you.
Right.
You have to figure it out. And that is part of the process. I want to revisit something else you said, talking to policymakers about out-of-pocket expenses.
Yeah.
And so I know that you know this, but our team uses an integrative approach where we use pharmaceuticals, but we also use nutraceuticals and, things that are, holistic, and also, those adjunct treatments that you get.
Yes.
All of which are out of pocket and that insurance doesn't cover. And that in of itself is a huge expense. The supplements alone, it is very frustrating to me that the prescriptions I was prescribed, I could go and pick up for free.
Right.
Or like $4.
Right.
But the supplements and things that I needed to support my immune system and decrease inflammation, they're hundreds of dollars.
Yes.
And all of that is out of pocket.
Correct.
I don't think people realize that. It's almost cheaper to be sick.
It is.
Than to take the supplements that help make you well.
Right.
Right? Because the antibiotics and things are cheap.
Right.
It's all the other things that we use to, support the immune system and decrease inflammation. That's the expense.
I think that's by design, though. I really do think the medical system wants to keep you sick so that way you keep coming back and making them money.
Right.
They don't really want you getting well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would have to agree because, again, even lab work that we want to send that is outside the box, that are things that primary care physicians mostly don't do because insurance
Right.
is not going to cover it.
Correct.
You know, again, here we are back at, well, this is for wellness. Like, you know, it's not necessarily check the swab if they're coughing. It's let's check their vitamin D and all these other things to
Right.
make sure we're optimizing, you know, all the things to support their immune system for getting well. And you can't do that because
Right.
insurance won't cover it and the patient's paying out of pocket.
Right.
So it's this vicious cycle of, you know, chasing your tail, trying to figure out what to do. And unfortunately, it comes at the expense of the patients, which most people cannot do.
Right.
And for someone like yourself, I mean, you've been through years of medical expenses before even getting to this point.
Correct.
And needing all of these things.
Right.
I mean, did you happen to keep track of all the expenses that you went through, like copays and all the things?
No, I didn't.
I know I didn't either.
I don't know if I want to know the total.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I will say the hotel stay alone those 2 months was $9,000.
Yeah.
You know, but no, I mean, it is expensive.
Yeah.
But I mean, my husband and I were very blessed and we worked very hard and we followed the Dave Ramsey method. So we have no debt, you know, we had savings. And
Right, yeah.
so, but that's, you know, what you had to do.
Yeah.
You know, it's an investment in your health and clearly it's working.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So it's one of those, you just have to see what your priorities are.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, I feel lucky too that we had a financial situation that would allow us to travel with our daughter to get help that we needed, you know,
Yes.
to buy the supplements and things. But for many patients that I see, that's just not an option.
Correct.
And I do think that's where we need help. I mean,
Absolutely.
we need patient assistance. We need policies to change.
Yes.
We need insurance companies to recognize this so that we can get reimbursement for the patients, not have to pay out of pocket for these things.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think it's going to take having conversations and people like you speaking out, speaking up, saying the things that you've said, you know, today, and encouraging people. One thing my patients always ask me too is, what can I do to help? And the one thing I say to them is tell your story
Yes.
to anyone who will listen. And I think you know, feel the same way.
Absolutely.
If there's an open ear, I'm saying it. You know, this is how I got better. You know, singing the praises of Dr. Vaughn, not personally, but just his perseverance to pursue the curiosity to think outside the box and the bravery to do that.
Absolutely.
And to know that there are options beyond what you have, but it takes people saying that and telling their story and showing that they're better. And that's the thing that I encourage people to do, is just to tell your story. And I know you've done a lot of testimonials and
Yes.
you've spoken and been on shows and all sorts of things. I know they interviewed you. And
Yeah, I've done another podcast. I've been able to share my testimony at multiple churches at this point.
Good.
I know at least 13 other people have come to Christ with my testimony,
Oh,
which
wow.
is amazing.
Yeah.
But yes, that is my goal now, is to just encourage and help others. At Medwell, I'm there all the time.
Yeah.
So I talk to patients and try to, you know, keep them going. And
Sure.
because you see them at all stages.
That's hard.
And it's hard.
Yeah.
You know, it's heartbreaking, and you know where you've been,
Yeah.
you know, and you can relate to them. And so it's cool that I get to be a part of that and now be like, no, just hang in there.
Yeah.
It will get better. Just
Yeah.
hang in there. So that I'm absolutely sharing my story, and I really appreciate you letting me share my story on
Yes.
here today. I'm so grateful to Dr. Vaughn and Katie and you, and Stephanie was the other main one in my care,
Yes.
and Sean. I mean, everybody. I also see a naturopathic doctor in Georgia,
Oh, awesome.
who is a big part of my care too, Kristen. So, I mean, I am literally throwing the kitchen sink
Yeah.
at it.
As you should.
Yes.
I mean, at this point,
Yeah.
you know, and my goal, one is to get myself and my patients better, right?
Yes.
But then to maintain that.
Yes.
And we have a lot of learning to do.
Right.
To do that. You know, I think there's a lot we've neglected about our bodies and healthcare and wellness.
Yeah.
I think we have a backward system of sick. You go to the doctor when you're sick.
Right.
We've got to change that into wellness and staying well so that
Right.
when you face sickness, your body knows how to do the things it's supposed to do, because it's an amazing tool
It is, right.
if it has what it needs.
Correct.
And if it's healthy to begin with. So I think wellness is a big piece of that for sure.
It is. I think a lot of that comes with education, though, too, because a lot of people, they don't want to be bothered. Oh, I'll go to the doctor when I'm sick. And,
Yes.
Otherwise it takes too much time.
Right.
So I think a lot of education needs to be done
Yeah.
in that aspect, too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I hope that's what we can start to do here, is use this as a platform for people to talk about those things.
Yes.
I've talked to a couple of people who, wellness and functional medicine is their focus.
Yes.
And I think that things are shifting in that direction.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So that we can, we're treating sick people, but also we gotta focus on the wellness too, to keep you, once you get well, you got to stay there. We got to
Right.
establish a new baseline. So I hope that, by telling stories and doing that and talking to people about what they're eating, what they're doing, and what they did to get well, and what you're doing now to stay well,
Yeah.
which is a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of maintenance. I mean, you take many supplements every day, and
Oh, yes. I have a very full med box with supplements and medications. I still go to Medwell twice a week. So I do the hyperbaric oxygen chamber
Yep.
twice a week. I do the red light therapy, the IV therapies,
Yeah.
soft wave for the iliac vein,
all the things.
all the things.
All of which are out
All
of
of it.
pocket. Yes.
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 Mhm.
But I mean, I know you were there 5 days a week. So we've at least,
Yes.
Yes. Now it's
Yes.
more of a maintenance
Correct.
instead of trying to get you over the hump. And I do appreciate the conversations you have with our patients, because
Oh,
I'm
thank
thinking
you.
of one patient in particular who's there, who was early on in her treatment, just crying every week, felt horrible, like completely hopeless.
Yeah.
And it is helpful to talk to people and see people who've been there, and to say it gets worse before it gets better.
Yes.
But then it gets better.
Right.
And then you get better and better and better. But when you're in that hole, it's a lonely place to be.
It is. Yeah.
So I also feel that a network is important. We have to kind of stick together,
Yeah.
tell people, kind of help them along when they're in that slump. And I still have bad days, as I'm sure you do.
Sure.
I mean, I don't know that normal is something I'll ever be again before COVID.
Yeah, I don't really know what long-term looks like,
Yeah.
to be honest, but I'm just grateful and blessed of how far I've come.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, there's still moments and days I struggle, but I feel like I'm blessed, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna get out there, and I'm gonna keep pushing.
Yeah. So long-term goals now. What are your long-term goals for, I guess, personally, professionally, health-wise, family-wise?
Well, I'm still doing physical therapy.
Mhm.
And so according to Sean, I still have a little ways to go, and we're still working on my balance and building muscle, but I'm able to do burpees.
I've seen videos.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm starting to run some. So, long term, I don't know exactly what time frame. I would like to eventually do like a 5K.
Oh,
So,
that's great.
my kids run. So
I saw that. Yeah.
yes. So, I would like to be able to run with them.
That's awesome.
And, just be able to travel again, and, be normal, if
Yeah.
that is a thing
Yeah, yeah.
anymore. But I feel like I have just another grasp of life. So I just want to be as joyful as I can every day,
Yeah.
and just enjoy and just love my kids and my husband, and just live.
Yeah.
That's really the best way I have for personal. Professional, I would love to work again. I mean, Dr. Vaughn and Katie and you all are just doing such incredible work. I mean, I would be honored to work here at some point. I'm not sure if I'm there yet. I still struggle with some of the memory stuff,
Right.
but I'm getting there.
Mhm.
So eventually, maybe. But otherwise, I don't know. I mean, or God might have a different calling for me that is not nursing anymore. I'm not sure, we'll see.
Yeah, who knows?
Right. But no, that's just where I'm at. Just keep pushing, keep living, and going from there.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. If you could, for our listeners, if you could describe your journey from where you've been and where you are now in one word, what would it be?
Wow. Probably just blessed is really the only word I can think, just a single word. I mean, I've gone so far. God has just picked me up and dropped me so far. So yeah, it's just blessed, and I'm just grateful for every chance that I have now to live.
Yeah. Well, I think that encompasses it all. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, wow, it is such an incredible journey. To hear you talk about it is one thing, and I know they can't see this, but to see you walk through it is completely different.
Yeah.
And I know that it keeps me encouraged every day for us to do what we're doing, even though there's a target on our back sometimes,
right,
or it feels daunting, or gosh, there's so many people like waiting to be helped. But seeing people like you come from where you were to sitting here talking today is, it is very inspiring for all of us and for our team. And I think it gives us, what we need to do to push forward, to know that this is the right thing, no matter if it's hard.
Yeah.
And no matter if it's being challenged, that this is the right thing to do. And so I just appreciate you, saying what you said today, but also living that out.
Yeah.
I think it's very inspiring for patients and for our team to see that. So,
well, thank you so much. But no, your team is changing lives. Please know that. I mean, it makes so much difference. Like, you are giving the hope and the care that people need.
Yeah.
I mean, so please don't give up.
Yeah. Well, I am a patient, and that's what I am one of the recipients of that, which is why I feel like, our team a lot, they've walked alongside these people, or they are those people.
Right.
And that's what makes them so, empathetic and so driven.
Right.
So we, appreciate that. And because there are times and days where it seems daunting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so well, thank you again for being here and telling your story. And I hope you continue to tell your story. And
absolutely,
when you run your 5K, we want to watch.
Okay.
Send us a video.
Right.
We'll air it on here so that all the viewers can see. Although I have seen videos of you running and doing burpees, so I know it's not that far fetched.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially considering where you came from.
Yeah.
So we're close. So you let us know. Yeah, you let us know when that happens.
I will do that.
Well, thank you again.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And thank you guys for listening in to Deb's story. Such an amazing, inspiring, powerful story of, just all the difficulties she faced for years, really, before finding her way to Dr. Vaughn and his team, and just the challenges that she has walked through and continues to walk through. But I think it's encouraging. And so hopefully there's someone listening. Maybe you've lost hope, and she has restored that for you today. So we just appreciate you listening in to her stories, where we're, just trying to get those out there and tell the truth and inspire other people to get the help that they need. So thank you for listening in.